Frenzzz. I'm just hopping on here to put on makeup. I recently purchased several items from the Sephora sale. If you don't know, I posted my Auric first impressions / review if you want to check that out. Link up above and down below. I just am now propelled to cocktail everything, try everything, and kind of revel in the purchases that I made because I absolutely adore them. Also, some old brush favorites, like this is the Tom Ford bronzer brush that was coveted years ago. Maybe it still is. My Fupa Koyudo foundation brush, because I do have to go through my brushes. I have so many, and many favorites in my collection that I need to revisit and introduce back here on the channel. You want to check out more brush videos, I do have a playlist just so you can browse through all my brush reviews and such. But now that we set up this off the cuff video because I need the content, so why not just press record and go? It's time for you to come in a little closer. Time for the house pin. Let's get these twisties back. And do I want to? Well, you know, I don't necessarily have to. I do like to apply my CeraVe moisturizer as my primer of choice, but I think I'll probably stick to, since I have this already, gonna do the Auric Glow Lust, but I was thinking of also cocktailing Lisa's tint and the LYS skin tint. I think that'll be a fun combination, getting a little bit of that soft focus effect from the Glow Lust. This is in the shade Sunstone. You can either mix this with your complexion product of choice, wear it solo, mix it with your moisturizer if that's what you like, because it is a tinted product. And Lindsay had mentioned in my Auric video that between this one and the Say primer, it was more like a gel cream. She preferred that because it felt significantly lighter and the Auric a little bit heavy. The Say, which I remember using like a few years back, again, that's more like a gel cream consistency. I agree. If you have more normal to oily, or maybe you don't, you have dry but you just prefer a gel cream texture, I would definitely take a look at that Say primer, which I had to get rid of, unfortunately, because it was getting a little old. The Kulfi Lip Oil Stain in Tamarind, made in Korea, which makes sense because these types of staining products that I absolutely adore, when I tried the Para water tint, like the Bear tint, for the first time a few months back, and was just blown away by that technology in a lip product. But Tamarind and also Caramel, that you probably saw me apply and in action, but this shade right here. Now for some fun, and using my Auric spatula, which I adore because it's quite wide here, and I'm scraping off a little bit of the skin tint and would like to combine that with Lisa's skin tint, just so I can capitalize on Lisa's fluidity, right? This is a lot more liquidy than the cream stick for obvious reasons, but I'm not putting a lot because a little goes a long way. That's pretty good. Maybe just a little more. And before we plop that on the skin, I'm gonna warm it up first here, straight on the palette, get a nice consistency going. I feel like Bob Ross right now. Popping in with my Koyudo Fupa, just plastered on any complexion product in a flash. I mean, the density of the brush is high. It's all natural hair. I believe they re-released this design, but with hybrid bristles, meaning half synthetic and half natural. But man, you can go wrong with the original. The way it just buffs foundation, in this case, these skin tints into the skin and leaves behind a smooth polished finish, is just untouchable. Man, look at that. I am flawless. And I actually like working from a palette because I'm able to control the amount of foundation I wish to have on my skin and can control the level of coverage, right? Where you can kind of pinpoint where you want more correction and all that stuff. Going into I think this is a Koido brush from the Makiko series. This is a little small synthetic brush, which I particularly love for concealer. But let me grab, oh, shout out to Ulta also. They were so kind to reach out and seeing if I wanted PR. And they sent me this cosmetic bag alongside a $100 gift card. So I haven't shopped with it yet. I'm waiting for fun item to go on sale so I could take advantage. Dotting a little bit of Danessa's Lift and Flex from her Yummy Skin line in shade 9. But taking a little bit of our tint cocktail now and using that to kind of zhuzh the concealer and manipulate the color a little bit. And sure, this brush is much smaller than many concealer brushes I have in my collection, but the advantage you have is precision, of course, especially here in and under the under eye, the inner corner. Especially if you don't wear a ton of concealer, then this brush is just beautifully precise. I'm also excited because I ordered Van's new brush bag. Van is the owner, creator, super boss man of Artist Kit Company, and I admire Van's work ethic and his solid vision for his brand, and I also appreciate how honest he is about creating your own brand and what goes into it, how it's ever evolving, and it just feels like you can never keep up. But from the outside looking in, he's keeping up. I just appreciate his design, aesthetic, everything about his Instagram. His cat just nails it. It nails it. It is uniquely him. And I actually had the pleasure of meeting Van in person when Refer flew myself and Michelle Wong out for the Refer brush shoot, which was just a ton of fun. And Van was on set as a makeup artist who uses Refer brushes and then sharing his perspective and his experience using the tools. But we got to talk on set and get acquainted there. And when I saw that he was creating his own makeup artist brand, that's definitely pro-driven, is professional-driven. He advocates for having tools for makeup artists that allow them to downsize their kit in a way that's efficient and organized. And he also sells, which is I think one of the mainstays for Artist Kit Company, is the consolidation of shadow pans, blush pans, any type of pan. He just shrinks it down into his custom artist kit compacts that you could also buy empty. They're magnetic, or you could just buy the pans if you'd like to press yourself. You could buy the molds. It's incredible. Incredible. I love his reels. And recently, because he had leaked that he was thinking about creating a smaller makeup bag version for the larger one he was already selling, and talking about the price point and whatnot and what went into developing it. And I was like, hey, for the makeup enthusiast that's not necessarily an artist who doesn't need to take lots of brushes with them, we'll love that smaller brush bag, friend. So when Van posted online that it was available for pre-order, I hopped on that so fast. I cannot wait. I just think it's great because it's upright and clear on the top so that you could just peel back the sides and have the brushes exposed. And I think the construction also allows just for the bristles to not be smushed and for them to mostly stay intact. I would advise that you place like a brush net over the head if you wanted to protect them further. But I can't wait for this brush bag. In fact, I think this might be one of my favorite brush bags ever to have been developed out of all the brush bags that I have. That'll be a fun video to do, comparing and kind of ranking my brush bag collection. Woo, but when that comes in, I'm going to film. Get ready, Van. Okay, I'm going to talk about it. Going in with now the Prada, it is around that time that I think about, top products for 2024. It's going to be an exciting time. I actually should start an Excel sheet or something, a Google sheet or something, because I have to go through all the releases that dropped this year and what I think were exceptional products, in my eyes anyway. For instance, the Alexandra Anel Refer Collab brush, this large fingertip slanted brush that, we have to use this with the Auric palette today. That's going to be a fun little pairing. But First, brows. Definitely going to be best of 2024 list for sure. I didn't realize that for the brows to look how I've always wanted them to look, but didn't have the opportunity to see that vision until I tried this pencil, which was, yes, thank you, Suku Europe, for sending it to me when they dropped their new brow products. I have brown and mauve in the Liberty London wish list, okay? This is, I believe, sand. I also have khaki, a beautiful color. But what I admire about this pencil is its ability to deliver the perfect shading backdrop for my brows, where it doesn't appear artificial, because before I used the Goof Proof pencil in 3.5 and I love that pencil, but I realized it's because sometimes you don't see the difference until you pair your faves with another potential fave, right? I didn't realize how much pencil or much coloring the Goof Proof delivered. And when using them both side by side, one after the other, and just getting into the nuanced differences, I realized, especially when editing myself, seeing photos of myself, that I much prefer how my brows looked with the Suku pencil. And I think it's because it's a drier pencil and smaller. I wouldn't put the size as like a deciding factor, because Benefit does have precisely my brow, which is their smaller brow pencil that's just a lot smaller diameter than the Goof Proof. I just enjoy this drier consistency. But according to the Suku brand, there's an oil in here that warms up to the skin when you start drafting, sketching, and leaves behind the most natural finish kind of sketch, I guess, draft of the brow. Is phenomenal. And I am curious to see how brown looks, how mauve looks, and you can just buy the refill. You will have to buy the actual pencil holder, right? But once you get the refill, you could just twist these guys out and be done. That was the hugest selling point for me, 100%. The fact that I didn't have to buy an entirely new pencil each time I finished, whereas I had to do that with the Benefit pencil. And that was getting a little, the unsustainable thing, okay? Here we go into, well, I have a lot of options here. I wanted to try this Tom Ford brush with the YSL bronzer, but I also wanted to hop on. I wanted to apply some auric too. Well, you know what we can do? I can lightly place the bronzer first and then maybe go in with the auric cream for slightly more definition, right? Not for contouring purposes, but maybe just a concentration of color. But ooh-wee, this is a thick brush. I don't think this is no longer available because Tom Ford made all their brushes synthetic. When they made that announcement, everyone was running to get the natural brushes before they discontinued. Here we go. We'll like to hop in straight into the bronzer with Alex's brush. And again, a characteristic that I absolutely love with Alex's brush is its precision to just punch color right into the hollows where you need it. And what she mentioned when developing the design, how important this was with the contouring, because the cheeks are cut on Alex. And to have a brush like this, I understand why it's necessary for it to be smaller, right? And a unique take on a slant, not your typical like tapered brush that's tapered on all sides, or even like a round flat or a round with a flat top, right? This is a great, I think, design. And you can see how successful the cream product blends over powder, okay? And there's now more of a distinct gradient where the concentration of color is heavier here on purpose in the hollows, and how it kind of pulls into that soft gradient of bronze as it falls into the cheeks, okay? With this highlighter, which, you know what? I'm gonna do a little mixy mix because this Dew Beam, the Dew Beam is dewy, but I think it a great consistency to use as a highlight setup, right? Because I want to go in with the Gucci highlighter, which I feel benefits from a slightly tackier base. We're getting crazy in here today, family. And a little goes a long way, right? You don't need a lot for both sides, as you saw. But look at that. My gosh, it's just fantastic. I was gushing over Mirage Shift in my first impressions video, so you haven't seen that already. I'm gushing some more. Get ready for some more gushing if you watch it. Into what, you know what? I will apply the highlighter now because I find with bronzer, highlighter, and blush to create the most seamless finish to apply the highlighter first, and then the blush kind of envelops all the boundaries of those products and kind of pulls everything together so it looks more cohesive. Does that sound like a plan? I purchased Opal Pink from the Gucci highlighter lineup, and man, I'm happy that I bought this color because it was between 01 and I think 03. 03 was your typical light gold, and I love that shade, but I thought this was quite a unique take on pink. And ooh, I wanted the dew beam on there first so it can grab the pearl from the gooch, you know what I'm saying? And I love Alex's brush too for highlight placement. It just pounces right where you need the highlighter to go. It kind of wraps around the cheekbones in that way. And then you could use the tail of the brush, or end of the brush, I should say, to feather the edges. Blush time, but I think I want to try mixing. I actually want to mix a few things, okay? I'm going to go in with the Forever Glow from Dior in bronze. I had to get this shade, all right? This, you can't go wrong with this freaking shade. It's like a coppery bronze. And now mixing that with Sand Blush from Mirage Shift. I think also you can probably get terracotta vibes if you mix your blush shade, whichever colorway you buy, your blush shade with the bronze. I think that would be a great combination. But now mixing these two together because, these, you see what I mean? We got it. We got it. I'm just gonna, cause that's a lot of product. The Dior Maximizer goes a long way, man. Woo! I'm gonna take some, well, the excess from my finger, cause we don't want to waste anything, and start to carry that around the, whatchamacallit, hello words, the cheek area. I probably could have used less of sand blush just so the more bronzy color can show through, but that's the beauty of cocktailing. Once you experiment and kind of get familiar with what does what, you could adjust the ratios and get the color you desire. Just placing a little more here. I actually do I want to get in and under the eyes? Yes, I do. And although I am carrying this closer under the eyes, the highlighter is still peeking through. We're not covering it. You know what I mean? That's still, we like that. And you know how I love to invite some of that same blush shade in and around the eyes. And I like to set it up higher, right? Because I love this blown out blush effect that's going on, especially because of the color, which, listen, I hope Sam, she comes out with blush shades that are just on the other realm, like the purples and the oranges, everything, plum, wine. Hello, we gotta get the plum and wine. It has to happen. You know what I mean? This on its own is already doing good. All right. Before I go any further, all right. So these Patrick Ta duos, right? I was aware that the controversy surrounding the Major Dimensions eye duo was the price, because they were priced, unless you got a discount during the Sephora sale, they were priced at $42 for a duo. I think the duos are quite large. This is in Do You Know Who I Am? And in my opinion, and I mentioned this in the org video, I thought this was one of the better ones. Still at the Club was the one I originally wanted, but it was sold out. But I definitely thought of Pat's like astral shade. So this is this top shade, right? I think it has a beautiful base of color. You could see the reflectivity is crazy, but I automatically thought of something like Gigabyte. I forgot if it's VR Pink or whatever. Here, let me swatch this guy just so you can see it side by side, and you know, we could talk about the difference. Dare I say, there's a little more shine, just a little more shine from the Patrick Ta. Now, I don't know if that's due to the palette being older, but here's Gigabyte, you know, definitely more of like a burnish finish. And you can see that there's just a little more reflectivity from the major dimensions. And to, you know, go in with one of these guys, I forgot which one was like the wet effect or the sparkling foiled. Let me go in with Homie. I think Homie could be like a something, whether it's a wet effect or a sparkling foiled, right? Ooh, you know, the Natasha Denona ain't playing around. I have to say, I do admire the shine and just the dazzle effect from the duos. And yes, it is expensive for just one duo, but the versatility I think one has to take advantage of, where you can just plop this down and be done, lashes, liner, however you want to go about it, or use this to tap on any shadow in your collection to really bump it up and get crazy. And this is what I wanted to do in my Auric video, was to combine the Kulfi eyeshadow singles or the Zari eyeshadow pots, Bronze Brocade and Sitara Sparkles together. I think that will yield just the most beautiful. But we have to use our YSL first, because that matte rose shade in the palette is a beautiful setup for what we're about to get into. And I didn't buy another quad. I didn't. I wanted to. I was being tempted by 100, which I think is Stora Dolls, and Gweli's Dream. Those were the two that I was like, but I didn't want to go there because Gweli's Dream was similar to the shades that exist in I Need a Warm. And what's appealing about the quads is that they're just smaller and easier, I should say, to travel with. And if I wanted I Need a Warm moment, then I would just carry along the Gweli's Dream. Gweli's. The thing is, I think Natasha should come out with empty magnetic palettes that fit the midi pans. Just for, you know, for the ones who have so many of her freaking midis. You know what I'm saying? So that if we just wanted to customize and shrink down the 15 pan midis into something that's more travel friendly and pick the shades, the textures that we want, but have something to plop them in. Come on, Natasha, do it. Do it. Now mixing these guys together. Oh, don't need a lot. A little goes a long way. Where's my palette? You should see my desk right now. What are we thinking about this cheek situation? It's just crazy. A little bit of Sitara Sparkles. A little bit of the Bronze Brocade. Ooh, that's gonna be interesting. Definitely want to use my finger to warm up the product, but oh my goodness. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but we're going to tap. You know what it looks like, actually? It's kind of giving what the Dior Maximizer, the Glow Maximizer in bronze is giving. It has a similar color hue. Oh, I totally sabotaged my look. I was supposed to go in with the, my Yves Saint Laurent matte first, but it's okay. I also have Lightwork 6 on standby just in case, you know, because we love what's going on in the Freedom palette. Probably took that a little too far, but it's okay. The Zari shadows are insane. But for now, we're gonna put these to the side and kind of clean up what I have here on the eyes by now going into Yves Saint Laurent with my Tuckahoe RS1. This is a big Mama Jama shadow brush, but getting a little, you know, big and fluffy so I can better manipulate the edges of the Zari shadow. So we want a big fluffy moment to clean up the edges of the crease. I might have to go back in and apply more here on the lid. But what I could also do is use the Patrick Ta duos to invite a little more shine and reflectivity, but do we really need it? And I assume that you can use the Dew Beam from Mirage Shift for a glossy eye moment. Now, the glossy eye moment is not daily wear friendly, okay? I think that's for concepts that you want to capture on photo and just have like an avant-garde editorial moment with the eye gloss look, but don't expect that to last all day. But I think the option is there for sure if you want to mess with that. Have to go in with Freedom. We got to go in Lightwork 6 because I'm thinking of popping in one of the more neon-y shades. And actually I'll just use my my Kiko brush. I made sure to wipe it first and go in with this guy that's more of like a pink flip. Yes! I'm having so much trouble, family, deciding who I want to award, which I want to crown Best Eyeshadow Palette of 2024, because I love Mineralscapes in terms of the concept, because I just think it beautifully represents the union of makeup and nature in terms of inspiration, and how it manifests in Mineralscapes is just, I can't, it's too much. But these shadows from Lightwork 6, every time I use them, I'm blown away each and every time. How easy they are to apply despite the finish and the effects they have on the eyes. I think that's what makes it so much fun, because it's foolproof. Lightwork 6 is foolproof. I mean, Danessa really nailed it. I gotta get something smaller though. Here, we gotta get something smaller because I just gotta clean up the inner part of the eye here. And because I'm greedy, I'm gonna hop into where to go. Hopping into the Duo just for a little bit of sparkly arcly on the center of the eye, right at the base of the lash. You see that? It doesn't have to take over the entire lid, but whoa. And you know what? I have some leftover here from our palette with this brush. I wouldn't recommend that you use this type of a brush with a creamy product, but you know, it's not super wet, so I think we'll be okay. I just want to invite that same cocktail on the lower lash line, but you know what? I think I might just have to use, let me see, I'm going back into the YSL with that rose matte I pulled through the crease here, and there's a little something missing. This is a little Eyeshadow eyeshadow brush, the ES02CH. I want to pick up this purple. I could go plum. I think that will probably make it a little more, I think it will match better with what's going on. I think that violet might be a little too cool leaning. So I'm picking up that matte plum from Babylon Roses, lightly tapping here on the outer part of my lid because I do appreciate some haze going on, you know what I'm saying? And then carrying just a touch here on the lower lash line. Whoa, am I missing anything? Do I want to apply anything else? Maybe I want to apply a little lip liner. Hold on. Lisa's 2N, phenomenal with tamarind. But hold on. What if we tapped on a little bit of caramel just on the center? See what happens. That's not too bad. Did it really change the color though? It didn't make it lighter, but I think it just probably just worked with tamarind a little bit more. All right, lashes time, and I'll be right back. And here is the final look. I decided last minute to throw on Kill Brown from Clio Professional liner in 06 Gray Brown just to cover the flutter lashes, also from Aura Cosmetics in Clouded to camouflage the lash band better. It was kind of a little bit of a disaster, but I think it looks okay. Gray Brown is great with these plummy rosy shades for sure. And love how the skin is looking, and probably encourages me to not replace or buy another jar of the Suku foundation. As much as I love that foundation, it is quite expensive, and I feel I can get decent level of coverage by going in with the Glow Lust first, or even Dior Star Filter in 3M. Sure, it's not going to have the same tint as Sunstone, but I think the soft focus finish helps to lessen the appearance of blemishes and uneven skin tone. The skin tint stick with the Lisa, it's a good combination. I will have to try the skin tint stick with Danessa's serum skin tint. I think that will also be a nice cocktail. But man, the star of the show is definitely Mirage Shift. Just how versatile it is from what you saw in my first impressions, how well it performs with the finger application, with the blush application, and today we applied it on dedicated cheek powder products, seeing how the cream bronzer performed on top of a powder bronzer and how that kind of gave a little more character to the cheekbones. It kind of carved it out a little bit more, but the skin doesn't look dry. It's a good product, and I'm happy with how the eyes turned out. The Kulfi Lip Oil Stain, one of my favorite lip products from the entire year. I know I bought this in November and we are nearing the end of 2024. I will have to say I will recognize it in the same category for me for innovative lip products that I encountered this year, which I realized might have released last year, but this was my first time using them. The water bear tints and the different like lip stain tint oils, all these Korean, Japanese lip products that just blew my socks off. Didn't even know they existed. And when I tried them for the first time, I was like, oh my God. And now the Kulfi, what I appreciate about the Kulfi, definitely the shades. I mean, this is like, which, no, I did not forget about Anastasia's Lip Velvet in Cool Brown. This guy right here, the velvet matte finish in this shade just adds beautiful character to whatever I choose to wear on my face. It really amps up the sophistication and also doesn't require me to go all out with the eyes. I could just fluff in the brows with my Suku pencil, get blushed up a little bit with the Auric palette, the Mirage Shift palette, maybe mix in more bronzer than blush, and then go in with the lip velvet. That'll be a nice combination. That'll be a nice, soft daily face, like a quick 5-minute face. But everything I purchased from the Sephora sale, the Auric palette, my gosh, has been phenomenal. Also, the Suku products that were sent to be comped, again, thank you to Suku Europe. And I like the duo. I do. I haven't seen other videos speaking about this product. I know there is, again, dialogue about how much it costs, if it's really worth it. I think if you buy one duo on sale, it's worth it because it's nice just to have that extra delivery of sparkle and shine. I do feel, in my opinion, Do You Know Who I Am is like the best one out of the 5 or the 6, however many colorways they are for these eye duos. The club one, I still have my eye on, but I don't think, well, that's not true because the sparkly arcly one in the club duo that's more of a topper has like a lot of pearl blue. I don't even know what's in that color. It just is dazzling. And the second color is more of a dedicated cool brown undertone that you just slap on the entire lid and you get smoke. All right, you get bronzy smoke right away. If I do happen to have an opportunity to get that one on sale, more than 15%. Maybe Patrick Ta will hold like a brand sale event for Black Friday. I'll keep my eye on it because that one's pretty. And to have this one, I think I'll be done. I don't need all the duos, but I'll be satisfied with those two. Let me know what you've been enjoying, family. And it doesn't have to be these products that you saw in this video, what you bought from other brands maybe I didn't hear about, that I personally don't have purchased or received SPR, that you've been enjoying, why, all that good stuff. I'll see you down in those comments. And if you made it this far, please consider liking the video. It does help the algorithm, letting it know to recommend my videos to more people like yourself. Maybe consider subscribing. You'll find more Get Ready With Me's, brush reviews, reviews for new makeup, all that fun stuff. You'll have an opportunity to check out my playlist and also click the notification bell so you'll be alerted with any new upload I drop here on the channel. And with that said, I'll see you on here again soon.